Amritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Bhurida Jana. The nectar of thy words revives the scorched spirit of human beings. They purify the sinner and are the life of the holy. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace-generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. In today's scripture class, the subject is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are continuing on the chapter Instruction to Vaishnavas and Brahmos. This was recorded on 26 November 1883. On that day, this conversation happened. M. writes elaborately about Sri Ramakrishna's visit to the Brahmo worship center and his meeting with Brahmo devotees. Page 340. Master. So, I am asking you, Vijay, if you have found your room. So this refers to a story that Sri Ramakrishna told previously, just before this, that two holy men went to visit a city. And after some time they met each other. One of them found his friend enjoying and seeing the various things, the marketplace, the shops, the houses and the buildings with great joy. And his friend said, how you are enjoying this thing? You seem to be really enjoying the city, visiting different places. And one who was enjoying, he said, yes, my friend, I first came to the city and found a place to lodge in and put my bag there, locked it, and now roaming about freely without worry where to stay. There is no uncertainty. I removed all that and now am enjoying the place. So that was the story that Sri Ramakrishna said, and he refers to Vijay. He said, so I am asking you, Vijay, if we have found your room. This was just a parable. The room is to find the spiritual ideal and its path. When we find our goal of life and which way I would travel to it, then we are free. Determination has come. I found a perfect path. That is my goal. That I want to achieve. That is like finding a room, no worries, anxieties. Then you freely roam around and see the world because you know you have already got perched on your branch. Unless you find your place, you will be troubled. You will be moving around, seeing the place but not enjoying because you are worried where to keep. Evening happens, where to keep my baggage, where will I find to lay at night? So that is the worry. Like that is the worry for a person who has not yet finalized his spiritual method and his spiritual goal. So he'll be always hopping from this branch to that branch, hopping from this place to that place, and then not yet certain, what is my path? Where do I go from here? So Vijay, have you found your path? What is your ideal? How to reach there? Have you found that now? Are you free? That was Sri Ramakrishna asking through that parable. To Yam and the others, you see, the spring in Vijaya's heart has been covered all these days. Now it is open. That spring, the fountain of love of God, fountain of spirituality, that was all hidden. Now that has opened. The thing that was covering the fountain and was not letting it to flow, it to come out, has been removed. And now the fountain of devotion, fountain of love of God is flowing in the heart of Vijay. Now it is open and Vijay is now has found the path how to find God. He was no more worried and he was full of joy of love of God. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says to him and others about Vijay. Vijay was a great devotee. So, for his livelihood, he first took a job in Brahmo Samaj and was preaching there and getting some money for a livelihood. But it didn't tally with his inner thought, inner feelings, his ideal of spirituality. So, after some time then, Vijay must have told Sri Ramakrishna what he wants to do. And he found the path, he has found a room, he has found his way how to reach God. And then he is now free and full of his spiritual fervor having manifesting and found the way. He is now full of joy, and that joy was emanating from Vijaya. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, Vijaya's spring of his heart has been now it's functioning because obstacles have removed to Vijaya. Well, Shivanath is always in trouble and turmoil. He has to write for magazines and perform many other duties. Worldly duties bring much worry and anxiety along with them. Here Sri Ramakrishna says about Shivanath. Shivanath was another devotee of Brahmo Samaj, whom Sri Ramakrishna liked very much. But, and this day, all they came, Sri Ramakrishna spoke, many people came to see Sri Ramakrishna in this worship of Brahmo Samaj. But Shivanath could not come. He was busy in some of his works. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, he was engaged in so many works and he missed the joy of conversation with Sri Ramakrishna, the worship in the Brahmo Samaj, the connection with the divine. All he missed, and Sri Ramakrishna is feeling that the Shivanath would have enjoyed today's date, but he was engaged in other things. And he says he had many responsibilities to perform. He has to write for magazines, and for that he has to worry. Last date has come, last time has come, and real joy he has to miss sometimes, and because he was busy in so many things. So that's why he says worldly duties bring much worry and anxiety along with them. So Sri Ramakrishna's thing will be, you perform your work, but find a time for your spiritual progress, spiritual disciplines, spiritual connection. Otherwise life becomes full of drudgery and less of joy, and worries and anxieties fill our life if we get disconnected from God, from spiritual endeavors. So as Shivanath couldn't come, that Sri Ramakrishna is little a feeling for him that he could have enjoyed. He's a good person, he loves spirituality, he loves company of Sri Ramakrishna, but that day he couldn't come because he had so many things to do. So Sri Ramakrishna always says, if you are too much burdened with worldly duties, try to reduce that so you can perform without worries and anxieties and have a lot of time for spiritual practice according to your heart's content, how much you like. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna will say for Shivanath. Now Sri Ramakrishna continues. It is narrated in the Bhagavata that the Avadhuta had 24 gurus, one of whom was a kite. Avadhuta, the story is there, he was a great person of realization. He had realized his oneness with the reality, and he found God manifested everywhere. The world he treated as unsubstantial. He was a Purna Jnani. And in the process of his spiritual progress, spiritual discipline, he found gurus from nature. Who were his gurus? His gurus were natural objects, like here Sri Ramakrishna says about the kite. His gurus were earth, wind, sun, fire, honeybee, beekeeper, like those all from with what one sees around. He saw the things and he gained some knowledge for his spiritual orientation from each of them. So he had 24 natural incidents and objects as his gurus who guided him in his spiritual progress. He accepted all that as guru. Now let us see what Sri Ramakrishna described him as one of the gurus. He says, one of whom was a kite of 24 gurus. How kite he found as guru? This Avadhuta, a great jnani. In a certain place, the fishermen were catching fish. A kite swooped down and snatched a fish. At the sight of the fish, about 1,000 crows chased the kite and made a great noise with their cawing. Whichever way the kite flew with the fish, the crows followed it. The kite flew to the south and the crows followed it there. The kite flew to the north and still the crows followed after it. The kite went east and west, but with the same result. As the kite began to fly about in confusion, lo, the fish dropped from its mouth. The crows at once let the kite alone and flew after the fish. Thus relieved of its worries, the kite sat on the branch of a tree and thought, that wretched fish was at the root of all my troubles. I have now got rid of it, and therefore I am at peace. So, the crows were running not after the kite, but they were trying to snatch the fish from its beak. And it was not one kite could not do with the one crow. One crow could not match the kite. It's a big bird, powerful. But there were hundreds, thousands of crows ran after the kite. And kite could not save from so many crows. But wherever it goes, crows follow him. And he thought, he couldn't understand why the crows are after him. He wanted to save himself from the crows, but crows were following wherever he went. And in the confusion when he was trying to save himself from the crows, the fish from his beak just was dropped down by chance. Then suddenly he finds all crows left him and they ran after that fish. The fish was at the thing which gave the kite this trouble to save himself from the crows. And then the kite, bereft of this fish, sat on a branch, free from worries and free from all the fear of this so many number of crows, and was at peace. So what is fish? This just the Avadhuta saw this thing, this happening in nature. And what does he find of this? A great lesson he finds. This fish you can say it is our worldly possession, you can say our ego, you can say our worldliness, that which we hold on, for that we are at trouble. Our all worries and anxieties are because of our worldly attachment to worldly things. That will give us trouble. Crows will follow us. They will not give us rest. We'll be always worried and full of anxiety will be, until and unless we can be freed from that attachment for the worldly things and worldly objects. When those are gone, when we are detached from them, then we are at peace. Then no crow follows. Nothing follows that will disturb us. We can perch on a branch, that is the branch of peace, and remain at peace. Just by giving the attachment. Not that we have to give up the things as such, that you have a nice sofa and oh, that must be the fish and I should give the sofa and throw it on the curb to be taken by the disposed. Not that. Just remove the attachment. Here the fish in the kite's beak signifies our attachment to the things. Feeling that it is mine. It is mine. That attachment is at the problem. Don't be attached to anything. So when you are detached from anything and from the things, then the peace comes. Whether this thing remains, fine. It goes, it is fine. In Bengali we say, thakle bhalo, na thakle aro bhalo. If thing is there, that's good. If it is gone, that is even better. That is called attachment. We are not attached to anything in the world. So detachment can be practiced not only with the objects, but with many things. With like your desire of praise. Often we want praise, we want love, we want compassion, we want kind words. All these are the attachment for the things. Give up all that. Don't want any praise from anyone. When you are detached from desiring praise or good words or thanks, that will give you a lot of peace. Sometimes people do the things and expect nothing in return but the thanks. And if they don't get thanks, they become very upset. I did so much for that person, that was so ungrateful, but he even couldn't say thankful to me. Just he was expecting thank and all, he was upset. All his good work done for others, which would bring lot of joy, was all gone because of his attachment for the return of at least thanks, a word of appreciation, a word of gratitude that the person was expecting and he didn't get, and he was upset with that. So just this, giving up any attachment to anything, any expectation, not that that thing will, saying getting thanks will not change his life. Like that many things in our life are there, which we really, if they are there, that's fine. If they are not there, our life will not be very, very difficult. And yet, we become attached to the things. Oh, this is the pain that someone gave me. It is so holy. In Swami Vivekananda's life we find one person gave him a nice pen made of a stone. It's made of stone. And the Swamiji, because of his love for that person, he kept on the table. One brahmachari was cleaning his table in Belur and it dropped from the table, fell on the ground and it broke. And that brahmachari was very scared. Swamiji used to signature with that, used to write with that. Someone whom Swamiji respected, that person had given. Now that pain gone, the brahmachari was really very afraid. What Swamiji will feel when he knows this is broken. It was my carelessness. And trembling heart, he went to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, I have done a great mistake. That pen dropped from the table, your favorite pen given by some very generous devotee in the West, and it broke. Now it's unusable. He was expecting big rebuke from Swamiji. What have you done? That was my so dear pain, that dear friend gave me. Swamiji was without any reaction. What he said? Oh, these things are destroyed like that. These things don't have disease like cholera or TB, that they will be gone. They go like that. Don't worry for that. Nothing, no attachment. Attachment was not there, though he was using that thing. So you can love a thing, we can possess a thing, but we can be without attachment. We can practice detachment towards that object whom we love, whom we appreciate. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Nothing is permanent in this life. Everything comes and goes. This whole being is like that. Things are like that. Situations are like that. If we get attached to the situations and the persons and the things, and we'll be miserable every moment they are separated. And everything will be separated. If they don't go into your lifetime, then you yourself will be separated from them. You'll have to die. We'll have to separate it from them. At that time we say, oh, this thing was remaining, that thing remained, what will happen? I die, like that it will happen. So like that thing, it all happens in that way. So that's why from kite, Avadhuta learned that detachment, non-attachment alone gives us peace, and non-attachment with anything. Non-attachment is a great virtue which can be practiced with anything in our life. Our job, our relations, our family members, our things that we love, our own body, our own ego. We can practice detachment with anything, all these. And then, when we practice that detachment, though seemingly we love everyone, love everything, the things are also with us, but when they are with us, it is fine. When they are gone, it is same fine. No problem at all. That's why Sri Rama is so much worshipped. Sri Rama Navami we wanted to celebrate on 5th of April. We could not do that day because of pandemic and this closed down of our center because of that. So Sri Rama's life we find, it was declared that Sri Rama is going to be coronated next day. But at night gets the news that coronation is set aside. Rather, his father had promised something and now he has to go and live in forest for 14 years. Where he was going to be king, and next day he has in fact to go in the forest as a forest dweller without any facility of the kingdom of the king and the emperor, and he will live in the forest for 14 years. But what was Sri Ramachandra? Sri Rama Tulsi Das write, may that face of Sri Ramachandra always protect me. That was same when he was going to be coronated, and coronation was going to be happen next day. And it was same peaceful, never excited. And when he finally has to go to forest, give up everything, face the hardships of forest, it was same serene calm. How did this happen? He was completely detached from his kingdom and luxury of being a king. Nothing could deter him, nothing he was attached, no situation he was attached to. This is the sign of detachment. Always remain same. Situation become little, smaller, doesn't matter at all. Like that is our thing. Now present situation, we have pandemic, so many things have changed in our life. That we have to stay in our home, we cannot go and meet our friends and relatives, we cannot go shopping, we cannot go park and make a gathering. If we are not attached to anything, we will be fine with all the situation that is here. Live in our house, read books, we are not attached to anything. Whatever situation comes, situation becomes smaller, we become bigger. We can handle every type of situation. Doesn't matter. We are happy when we are meeting friends, relatives, going to shop for shopping, going to parks, going for outing. And we are happy now going nowhere, living in the home, in our house, reading books, getting the news, listening to nice stories, nice lectures, spiritual lectures, praying, doing japam. We are happy in the same way. Then the situation becomes smaller because we are not attached to situations. We are more greater and bigger and can handle every situation. This detachment is such a powerful tool that will never hurt you. It cannot bind you. It cannot make you suffer, miserable. You grow beyond that. So that is the power of detachment that Avadhuta learned from the story of kite. Let us see what Sri Ramakrishna continues. Now he explains, the Avadhuta learned this lesson from the kite, that as long as a man has the fish, that is, worldly desires, he must perform actions and consequently suffer from worry, anxiety and restlessness. No sooner does he renounce these desires than his activities fall away and he enjoys peace of soul. Now, should activities be totally given? In the Gita question comes where one should give up everything and become a sannyasi, or work with unselfishness without expecting desires, was asked to Sri Krishna by Arjuna, whether one should become a sannyasi, giving up everything, or perform karma yoga, living in the life in the world. Sri Krishna recommends lead a life of in the world and be a karma yogi. That is definitely greater than giving up everything. If you are unselfish and unattached and yet work in the world, then that is like sannyasa, says Sri Krishna. Jneyasa nitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kankshati. That is a real sannyasi who doesn't desire anything, no worldly desires, and who doesn't hate anyone. That is real sannyasi, everlasting sannyasi. That may be living a householder's life or wearing ochre robes and living in monastery, doesn't matter at all. That unattached person doesn't hate anyone and doesn't desire anything. Yona dvesti na kankshati nirdvando hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. O mighty armed Arjuna, one becomes free from duality. You and me, good and bad, this lovable and hatred, one who we hate, friend and enemy, all this duality is gone. All become same. You start loving everyone in the same way. You love everyone intensely when we have that type of thing. And when that thing comes in our being, what happens? Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. We become freed very easily from all bondages. Bondages is attachment. Attachment is the bondage. Wherever you find you just like and attached, and that gives trouble. When you are detached, you become free. So that Sri Krishna said, and here also Sri Ramakrishna explains that Avadhuta found that the attachment to the worldly object was like a fish in that with that kite. He gave up fish and was free and peaceful. Attachment to the worldly things, worldly desires, is that fish. Give up worldly desires and worldly attachment. You are free, and then you can be peaceful and calm and live like that. So that is the thing. And giving worldly desires is giving up attachment to the worldly things. In that comes relations, situations, our attachment is our own body, many desires for our own, I will achieve this, I will get this. Don't think anything like that. Just perform your work, and then God will take care of yourself, and He will make you achieve the things in His own glory. You don't have to achieve anything by yourself. God will step in and make your life of some benefit to this world. Your life will not go useless, but let God do. Let your ego be replaced by God consciousness and God awareness, and the thing will be done. We may think that our work is selfless. Sometimes we say, I don't want anything. I work selflessly. But selfishness comes unknown to us from no one knows where. But if a man has already undergone great spiritual discipline, then as a result of it, he may be able to do work without any selfish motive. This unselfish action is very difficult. Sri Ramakrishna to many devotees, particularly the Brahmins, used to say, our ideal is not renunciation. Our ideal is Janaka. We want to work in the world and still be detached from the things, and will be free from all worldliness. Be in the world, free from worldliness. Great Janaka. Janaka was ruling over him. He was an emperor and he was a great king. But he was detached from everything because he was a person of knowledge. Once what happened is in Janakapura, his capital Mithila, his kingdom, the capital, there was fire. And people came rushing to Janaka and said, your capital has caught fire. Soon it will engulf your own palace. Janaka was perturbed like Rama. And he said, Mithilayam pradagdhayam name dahyati kaschana. Mithila is burning, what that to me? I am not being burned with Mithila. This man of knowledge, even if his cloth is burnt, he will say same thing. If even his body gets burnt, he will say same thing. Shariram me pradagdhayam name dahyati kaschana. That knowledge he got after a long spiritual practice. It didn't come just by itself. I want to be Janaka and we become Janaka. It is very difficult to remain unselfish, perform selfless actions so easily. Sri Ramakrishna's word to be seen very nicely. But if a man, is selfless action impossible for anyone? No, it is possible. Selfless action, unselfish action, being like Janaka is possible, but extremely difficult. For that one has to undergo spiritual disciplines. Here he says, but if a man has already undergone great spiritual discipline, you must see the word great. Real, sincere spiritual practice. I will discover my spirituality and then I will come in the world. Sri Ramakrishna compares this like making the butter out of curd or yogurt, and says milk has to be settled to make a curd or yogurt, and that milk, that yogurt, when it is formed in the settlement, has to be churned, and from that, when you churn, then butter comes out, and that butter, if you keep in water, it floats, it doesn't mix with water. But if you put milk in water, it will just mix with water. Similarly, without practice, if we live in the world, then we become worldly. There is no other way, we become worldly. But if we practice discipline, we transform ourselves, we become a spiritual person, then we can perform things in the world, and then yet we will not be worldly person, will be like Janaka. But for that, milk, yogurt, churning, butter, all this process has to be done. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, one who has already undergone a great spiritual discipline, sincere and great effort in raising our spiritual level. When it is done, then as a result of it, he may be able to do work without any selfish motive. That is the way when one is a householder will find peace and live in the world without any anxieties, worries, performing all the things. In that case, one becomes like Yam, like Nagmahasaya. He was not attached to anything, Nagmahasaya. He was always in exalted spiritual position. Yam was performing all the work of the household, but he was not attached to anything. He was at peace. Otherwise, how this great gospel would come? All he used to meditate, and the sin after sin will unfold in his mind, and he wrote all the conversation of who said what. It was not recorded. it was all from his diary, from his note, from his memory, or how the thing of the deep meditation that he had gone, who spoke what Sri Ramakrishna answered, where was another person to that, what is the third person answered, what is the fourth person doing, all this he could just listen, the scenery would come in front of him and he went on writing. It was a divine work, it is not possible for a human being, unless it was a divine mission awarded to him, he could not write this thing. And for that, how much focus he has to do on this thing, on gospel writing, withdraw the mind from all worldly attachment, and then you put there, and then the thing like gospel comes, all because of his detachment from the world. After the vision of God, a man can easily do unselfish work. In most cases, actions drop away after the attainment of God. So when we realize God, actions drop away. You don't have to perform any action, or there is modification of action. What you were doing, that work you don't have to do, which brought worries and anxieties and responsibilities. All those phase is gone. Next phase has come when your action has changed, your work has changed. Now you distribute the joy to the world through your presence, through your talk, through your prayer, through your meditation. All that happens. So all your worry is gone, peace filled, and you start filling the world with that peace that you have inside. So works drop. Only a few, like Narada, work to bring light to mankind. They attained God, they found the truth, did great spiritual practice, and yet went on doing work. Never stopped, unceasing work. Who is doing that? Who is giving example of Narada? He himself is that type of person. He found God through all different methods, different paths. And after that, how much work Sri Ramakrishna performed. Always ready to talk with the people, to uplift their morale, to raise their spirituality, how to find the way that person becomes spiritual. Once one of young disciple came to him, and Niranjan, and he said to Niranjan, "What are you doing? Time is going. When you will realize God?" He's so worried for Niranjan when he will realize God and be in the bliss of the divine realization. He was worried in that way for every person, so much of love. And this worry, when you worry unselfishly, your worry becomes unselfish worry, not connected with yourself but connected for others. It becomes a source of great happiness and joy. Our own case, if you pray for only yourself, that as Swami Vivekananda said, wow, the selfish man praises. There is a storm going on and always in danger, the house, the cottage may fall, one person will start praying, "Oh Lord, please save me and my wife, my son John and his wife. Save us 4 and no more." This is the prayer of a selfish man. What joy he will get. But what is unselfish man, realized man, spiritual man will pray when such thing going on. He will forget about himself. He will pray for all. "Oh Lord, please save all. There should be no worries, no problems for others. All will be afraid. Can you please grace them with your compassion?" Like that will come during our own times. When there is danger, we are afraid what will happen to us. So many people are affected with this pandemic. Then we pray, "Lord, please save me, please protect my parent, my father and me." And like that will be our selfish prayer. But unselfish prayer will be, "Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya." Nothing for yourself. May all be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, happy, sukhi. Sarve santu niramaya. May all be free from disease, trouble. Please Lord, give this. This is the prayer for all, worry for all, which is equivalent to having no worry at all. Only a spiritual person can be that unselfish, will not think about himself or herself, but think about everyone else, for all, for the whole world. And when there is problem in the world, his heart will cry to save the whole world. He will go to the Lord and pray to them, pray to Lord for the people, for them. That becomes unselfish prayer. When you feel the whole world is to be prayed, is to be protected, that removes all your bondage. When you become unattached to your own self, little self. Sri Ramakrishna was like that. And was Swami Vivekananda exactly was like that. He realized God and he wanted to be immersed in that. Work finished, he tells Sri Ramakrishna, no more work doing. I want to be in the bliss of samadhi. Sometime I may come to the worldly consciousness to eat something to preserve body, and then again I will go deep into samadhi, oblivious of this world, no connection with this world, nothing desire, no selfish worldly desires, nothing, but being immersed in the spiritual awareness. That I want. I want to be immersed in the spiritual bliss that you have made me taste. Sri Ramakrishna had given him. And what Sri Ramakrishna said, no, that is not for you. Just the taste is given. Now its key is with me. You have to do mother's work. When mother's work is done, then I will give you the key. I will open your way to bliss and release you from this world. Sri Swami Vivekananda had to work so much. Man of realization had to work so much. Coming to the West, meeting people and hear so much of conflict with the people. People derogatory, saying derogatory things to him, though he was so glorious, so pure. And people said all nonsense thing about him. He didn't care. Went and walked like a lion who is not afraid of anything. Nirgat sati yada jala, pinjara divakeshari. A lion which is freed from the cage and walks fearlessly in the forest, in the street. Like that was Swami Vivekananda. People said so many good things about him. There were people who said many bad things falsely about him. He did not care for anything. He went on working incessantly for the good of the world. Went on speaking, giving lecture, writing letters, thinking about how to make a permanent place for Sri Ramakrishna. No money was there. So like that he was here. Lot of work all came because Sri Ramakrishna had said, you have to be like a banyan tree under whose shade many people will come and find solace and peace. That happened. He himself was protecting them from the scorching sun. That is the life of like Narada, working incessantly because God ordained. Sri Ramakrishna said that you have to work for that. Narada was also like that. All the great teachers you find like that. Jesus Christ, realization, a person who had realized today is Good Friday, when the day when Jesus Christ gave up his human life for the sake of the humanity, after spreading the message of love, compassion, friendliness, then this was the day that he sacrificed, his body was sacrificed on the cross, on the cross. And how much work he did. He did tapasya, find God, was in communion with God, always in the bliss of God, and yet he came back, took all the trouble, had to undergo passion, all this suffering, punishment, blame, weeping. What Jesus Christ went through, carrying his own cross, a frail person who had done no mistake in his life. And that person had to undergo so much of trouble, misery, suffering. Why did Jesus Christ have to undergo so much suffering? The person who was blemishless, who was pure and holy, not an iota of mistake or wrong thing was done by his life, was always for the good of others, only he thought on the good of others. Why he did that? He did this to take and show us the way that suffering is inevitable in life. Even the incarnation of God has to suffer. What to say of human beings? And gave us strength, gave us example of how much when God incarnates can undergo suffering. Little suffering, why should we worry? That strength Sri Ramakrishna, Jesus Christ gave us. He made us strong, and all his suffering was for the suffering of humanity. He made us free from suffering, and on this day he was crucified and gave a great message. And what he said at the cross, he said at the cross when he was being nailed, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. What a compassion, what a forgiveness, ultimate forgiveness. Someone is killing him. At that moment he is saying, they know not what they are doing. Lord God, please forgive them, don't punish them. What a message, forgiveness, compassion at the last moment. Swami Vivekananda said, I saw in the Himalayas a person, somehow the tiger got there and he caught that person. This person was being dragged by the tiger. And what this person said, when he was going into the jaw of death, into the mouth of tiger, nothing, no cry, no save me, nothing. But what he said until his last breath was, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. I am not this body the tiger is going to kill. I am Shiva, immortal, auspicious, blessedness. That is like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Oh God, oh Shiva, forgive this tiger. Don't punish it because it is killing me. Because it cannot kill me. I am immortal self. I am Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham. That is the sound comes of immortality. That's what Jesus Christ said on this day. Ultimate of forgiveness, compassion, love, purity, holiness. So Jesus was all made of all these qualities. All these qualities personified was Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ, can anyone kill by just crucifying such type of person? So strong, condensed spirituality? No, such person cannot be killed. He was crucified, he resurrected. Mythologically he resurrected in his body, but spiritually he resurrected in the hearts of everyone. So Jesus still lives with same love, same dignity, same power, and wherever he just loves in the heart of his devotees, he emanates those qualities of forgiveness, love, compassion, seeing all good in others, suffering for the sake of others, that all Jesus inspires. He lives. He is really the king of the heart of everyone. That is called resurrection in the heart of every devotee. Jesus never died. That way, no great person dies, even if his body is perishes, or they live. Buddha doesn't die, Rama, Krishna, they never die. Even the life finishes, body goes, but they ever live in the hearts of humanity. Ever they are resurrected in the hearts of humanity. Sri Ramakrishna was such person who worked incessantly even after realizing God. Another was Ramana Maharshi, who was a great Jnana Yogi. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, he always said, know the truth, know thyself, always find out who are you. People said this suffering, this misery, this fear. He said, who is saying that? It's your mind saying. Know who are you, all will be going. If you understand who we are, all these worldly problems will vanish in a moment by knowledge. Nahi jnanena sadrisam pavitram iha vidyate. There is no anything as purifying as knowledge. When that purifying agent comes, that knowledge comes, that I am that self, I am Shiva, I am Atma, all suffering, worldly attachment, worldliness, this Dvaitavada, or you can say a duality, this all goes away, vanishes in a moment. Ramana Maharshi all lived in that Advaita state, always immersed in the awareness of non-duality. Then how did he live after attaining that? He made an ashram, he invited the guests who came to the ashram to meet him, he took their care, whether they have food or not, whether they are staying well or not, and he used to talk to them, give them light of knowledge, to be with these great persons who do not care for their health, their age, but only are concerned how to give knowledge, how to give bliss of the truth to those seekers. That how they all go on working, the never finishing work they have. So, like Narada, there are so many people. Only a few like Narada work to bring light to mankind. That's only their goal, how to give light to mankind, bring mankind, free mankind from the bondage of ignorance, from bondage to the world. That is their own thing. Now, after Sri Ramakrishna spoke about the one of the 24 teacher of Avadhuta as kite, he speaks about another teacher. The Avadhuta accepted a bee as another teacher. How bee can be teacher? Let us see what Avadhuta found out. Bees accumulate their honey by days of hard labor, but they cannot enjoy their honey. For a man soon breaks the comb and takes it away. Avadhuta learned this lesson from the bees, that one should not lay things up. Sadhus should depend 100% on God. They must not gather for the morrow. But this does not apply to the householder. You see, there should be no confusion. Sadhus should not think about tomorrow. They will be taken care of. If they are not taken care of, doesn't matter at all. It's only one life. Somehow, next day they will not have food perhaps. Doesn't matter. Next day they will keep fasting. But this is not this does not apply to a householder. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is so great. He's talking the ideal of a sannyasi to the householders. But he says, not for you. Householders, they must not, one householder must bring up his family, therefore it is necessary for him to provide. So they have to accumulate something because it's not for him, it's for the family. He has to feed them, they are under his care. Birds and monks do not board. Yet birds and monks do not hoard. Yet birds also hoard after their chicks are hatched. They collect food in their beaks for their young ones. So they say Panchi or Darvesh. They compare the monks with the birds. Birds don't keep food. Every morning they will go in search of food, have food and then come. If they have children, they will bring in the food. But monks do not worry for tomorrow. Today taken, done, fine. So the next paragraph is very nice, it was there. So I'll read that, the time is finishing. But Sri Ramakrishna, even birds have to care when their young ones are hatched. They have to feed them. But monks do not have any to worry for how they will get. Why don't they have to worry? Because God will provide them. Or God will not provide them. That also they will not have to worry, because whatever God wills, that becomes their thing. If God wants you not to give food, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have to get all the food. So whatever God provides or does not provide is what they will be happy with. Whatever God does. Monks can live that way. Birds, when they have children, they have the chicks, when they hatch, then they have to give food. Panchi or Darvesh, they compare like that. Now, he's very happy with Vijay, and Vijay is trying to find the real spiritual ideal for himself. Let me tell you one thing, Vijay. Don't trust a sadhu if he keeps bag and baggage with him, and a bundle of clothes with many knots. I have seen such sadhus under the banyan tree in the Panchavati. 2 or 3 of them were seated there. One was picking over lentils. Some were sewing their clothes, and all were gossiping about a feast they had enjoyed in a rich man's house. They said among themselves, that rich man spent 100,000 rupees on the feast and fed the sadhus sumptuously with cake, sweets and many such delicious things. That was their conversation, all focused on food and having, and Sri Ramakrishna says, don't believe such sadhus which have big baggage, they are attached to their clothes or whatever is there and have lot of knots in their long cloth which they wear. What does that mean? They tie something there, somewhere some money, somewhere some food, somewhere some grains, whatever is there they will tie in different places. That is like the bag because they don't have other things. And big bag of their clothes and blanket, whatever they need or they do not need, they got something. And that real renunciation has not come. They look for something, that's what Sri Ramakrishna. When you find sadhu like this, who is possessive, who has still attachment, don't trust sadhu. Sadhu will be known from detachment, from renunciation, doesn't worry anything, is not attached to anything. Like Raja Maharaj, that story, he was sitting and doing tapasya on the bank of a river, and one person came and he gave a nice blanket, just put it beside Raja Maharaj. He was peacefully looking, nothing was happened. When we get something, we get attached to that. It becomes mine, someone has given it mine. And he didn't touch, he was peaceful, so much calm and filled with this joy, contentment, nothing want. That attachment didn't come to him. That it's mine, that possessiveness didn't come. After a few minutes, one person comes, sees that this sadhu sitting, eyes open, half closed. So, and this sadhu, nice blanket, new blanket kept, he picks up that blanket and goes away. Thief. One person donated, another person took. Radha Maharaj was seeing the same attitude. No attachment to this blanket. Hey, why are you stealing my blanket? Nothing like that. So, like that it happens. You are not attached to anything. So that is the sign of the sadhu, detachment from the worldly object and ever contented. That's what is the sign of a sadhu that Sri Ramakrishna describes about the quality of his. If you see sadhu, often we get confused whom to trust. People are there. So many people seem to be holy, like holy person. How to find a real holy person? So that is one test. Whether he practices what he preaches, whether he has that renunciation, that devotion. If he preaches one thing, no, money is false, and yet runs after the money, runs after name and fame, so there is something wrong. He has not reached it. So don't trust some sadhu. He is like an ordinary person. He is yet to reach. Maybe he has become sadhu, but I have not reached the place where he wants to reach. Let him reach and then I will follow. He is still pravartaka. He is still novice in the field. So he may be old. Maybe one life it takes to become, really reach the position to find that. Whole life one can become pravartaka. So like that it may happen. That's what Sri Ramakrishna makes people aware of real monastic renunciation, that they don't own anything, they don't possess anything, like that thing. Sometimes we find that there are monks who have nice house and there are a lot of money in their name, they are big in charge of the center and center has a lot of money and rice grains. But monk doesn't own anything, no money, no stacks of grains, no house. It all is of the order of the center, nothing of him. He may look like having so many things, but he is totally detached. One person asked one monk, Swamiji, one householder to a monk asked long back, Swamiji, you and I am a householder, you are a monk. But why you get so much respect from the people, and people don't take care of us, no honor, they don't even do namaskaram to us, and people come and fall at your feet. What is the difference? I also have read Upanishad, I also understand what the Vedanta is, I respect, I can recite the Gita, I do prayer in the morning, I do everything that what you do. I read Gita, I read Upanishad, I do prayer, I do japam, that you do. I do some work, that you also do the work. So why, what is the difference between you and me? Why there is so much, society respects you so much and they don't care of me? So Sadhu said, you know the difference? If tomorrow I'm having responsibility of this big ashram, so much, whatever wealth, money is there, whatever work is there, so many vehicles, anything. But tomorrow if Belur Math sends me one postcard, simple letter, that you come back to here, give up the center, you will be posted to other place, or you will be in Belur Math, give up that. And when I get that letter, in one day, I will be ready and move from here. Can you give up your family like that? So that's the difference, Swamiji said. That is detachment, renunciation. Though you know everything, but how much renunciation and detached we are. When one is at that detachment, like Nag Mahasaya, he is respected even by the sadhus. Nag Mahasaya was a person of renunciation, detachment, great spiritual height he had attained. He came to Belur Math, householder, he came to Belur Math. Swamiji was teaching scripture that day. And when saw Nag Mahasaya, he asked all brahmacharis to touch his feet. Touch the feet of Nag Mahasaya. That respect is earned by the renunciation, by holiness, by purity. When that comes, respect comes. And that respect, one should not want to have respect, then that respect comes. If you feel, I want that respect, people should respect me, that respect will never come. People may show you respect, but they will not respect you if you really want respect from others. Renounce everything, don't want anything, no respect, no praise. That, as I said, not even think of anything in return, not even thanks for what you give and you do. Then you become really gradually holy. Great spiritual discipline. Great, that is the word Sri Ramakrishna said. We have to perform spiritual disciplines, slowly we become purified. We don't want anything. If we want one thing, and that is God, love of God. That's the only thing that we want in life, that only is sustained in life, that only remains in life and goes with us after we give up this life. Thank you very much. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Shritva